He hit it hard.
Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers, and welcome to another episode of The Odd Couple. I've got everybody's favorite Dodger fan, Mikey Bleeds Blue, and I've got Dave, everybody's favorite Astro fan / Dodger fan. And so,
Wait, did we lose Dave?
no, he's still there. I didn't say anything bad. Listen, he's got to have a National League team. He's got to have a National League team, right? So maybe it's the Dodgers. I don't know, but he's the favorite Astro fan. So yeah,
He's the favorite Astro fan of the Dodger people.
that's right. Like he is
Ladies and
big
gentlemen,
time in Dodgerland.
I'd like to come out and say that
in nature.
today I'm officially announcing my retirement. I do not feel like the luckiest man in the world. That's 2 intros in a row that Baseball Bill has hacked up their minor league job, Bush League, I would dare say.
That's
y'all know
Mr.
what's
Bush
up.
League to you.
It's Mr. H Town all day, every day. I bleed orange like Mikey bleeds blue. I've got 2 favorite teams, the Houston Astros and whoever's playing the Texas Rangers. So if the Dodgers are playing the Rangers, then you might get a go Dodger out of me that day. But as last time I checked the scoreboard, no. So,
Okay, so
this will be the
you're a
last
Phillies
time
fan
that you
today.
ever hear Bill. I'm officially putting it out there. Bill will never, ever, ever, ever do another intro on The Odd Couple. So I will be taking over intro duties henceforth. But
There you
thank
go.
y'all for joining us. I appreciate each and every one of you that take time out of your day to come hear us talk about stuff that like this. When Bill botches my intro.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, that's been a great show. We appreciate everybody. It's been a good time. Anyways, let's get on in the show. So, speaking of the Astros, so for those of you that are new to this, that
and you didn't even read it. Just saying.
what for those of you that are new to this, listening to it on YouTube, we have Mikey, obviously a Dodger fan. We have Dave as an Astro fan. They are the odd couple. They are hilarious. We joke around a lot. We don't stick to script. We do all kinds of fun things. We record on Wednesday nights and we typically issue them on Thursday mornings. So as you can see, Dave is doing brim switches in recognition of Memorial Day. But let's jump right into it. So first thing that we're going to talk about is this. The Astros are in the race still, ... Is it because they play in the American League West, or are they in the race just because they're there? Now, in all fairness, I picked the Astros to win the division this year, and I still think they got a shot. Dave, we're going to start you out with this one. Do you think the Astros are still in it because of the division they play in, or do you think they're just had a slow start and they're really, really good?
I'm going to bet the latter. The Astros are not that bad, guys. I know that the rest of the world was relishing in the slow start from the Astros. And albeit the AL West is not necessarily the barnstorming division, the difference between first and last place is 7.5 games. So this could come down as the most contested, most highly contested division of them all. I mean, you've got more space between you and the Padres than first and last place in our division. So I think that the competition in the AL West failed to separate themselves when the Astros were losing. And like I said, we're, not that bad. Hader seems to be getting this stuff together. So I think we're definitely taking advantage of playing in a weaker division. But I mean, you still got the AL Central out there. I mean, as long as the White Sox are in there, that counts for like 2 bad teams. They're so bad. So, is it the weakest division in baseball? That's yet to be seen. I will say, though, that this will probably come down to the wire as far as who wins the division. So, yeah, it's weak, but it's going to be a fun one to watch, man. So tune in.
There you go. Mikey, same question.
I do think the start the Astros got off to this season, they should be thrilled for where they're at right now. The West has American League West has really been, it hasn't been good. There, there's a lot of if one team gets hot, they could just leave everybody behind. I really don't see that. I kind of see it playing out like it is now. I don't think any team's going to run away with it. I don't think any team is going to really be way above 500. So I see it kind of being like this all year long between, 3 or 4 of those teams. Just, it's going to be a dogfight. The dog days will be dogged.
Right. I would agree with that. Dave, I've been saying this all year long. It was going to be a dogfight between the Astros and the Rangers. The Rangers have struggled out the gate as well. But the Astros have this unique firepower, and they still have a group of guys that know how to win. Dave and I talked about this on Can of Corn. Kyle Tucker, man, this kid is just doing insane things. He's got 17 home runs already this season.
League
And his
leading.
high, what's that?
League leading 17
Yes.
home runs.
He's got the highest he's ever had. He's had back-to-back years with 30 home runs and then a year with 29 home runs. So he's 50 some odd games into this with 17 home runs. If you times this out by 3, assuming that he stays on this pace, he has over 50 home runs this season. This kid is good. The Astros will be there. The Rangers might be there, but I'm gonna say don't sleep on the Astros, and I want to get that on record, Dave, so that you never threaten to leave the show again. How's that? Can we agree now?
That's fine. Just don't mess up my intro no more. Okay. Prince of Podcasting, the Count of Montezuma, all the good stuff. Okay. I had the list. Just read it off.
The
But no, seriously, the Astros have the pieces there. Pena's having a great year. Altuve's having a great year. We started off with one of the toughest schedules in baseball, and we had starting pitching close. So I could talk about Astros all day, but have no fear, rest of the Astros hating world. We will give you plenty more for us to hate this year.
Yeah. I just want to say Big Dave has more nicknames than Apollo Creed.
Yeah, listen, we talked about that. Yeah. I mean, the Master of Disaster, the King of Sting, Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, no, the man of the hour, the man of the power, too sweet to be sour, often imitated, ever duplicated. All these belts, these aren't for show. Okay, you gotta to be the man, you gotta beat the man. All right, and right now I'm the man, so I'm just saying.
There you go. All right. One of the things that we like to talk about oftentimes is we talk about the Bad News Bears breaking training and the infamous "let them play" scene, right? And Dave, where did they shoot that scene at? I forget. What stadium was that?
That was the 8th wonder of the world, the world's first air-conditioned stadium. That's right, the state-of-the-art, ahead of its time, designed to last a lifetime, will be there after the nuclear winter. That's right, the Houston Astro Dome.
Now, Dave, side note before we get to this question, I saw a picture last night of the Colt 45 Stadium in the completed Astrodome. I didn't realize that they were basically the same place that NRG is. I mean, when I saw that, I kind of went, what? Right?
No, the crazy thing is like the Astrodome dwarfs Colt Stadium, and then now NRG makes the Astrodome look like a high school stadium. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know this is kind of off topic of what you were just literally talking about right there, but when you said Colt 45, I do have this sweet, I think it's a 1963 or 64 Topps Joe Morgan, Sonny Jackson rookie card, prospect card.
Love it. Love it.
It's rated F because I played with my cards and stuff. It's worth nothing, but it means something to me.
It's invaluable to you, brother. That's all that matters.
That's right. So Dave, put in your bucket list when we get Mikey down to H-Town that we take him by the dome and show him how big NRG is compared to the Dome.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we're hitting all of the H-Town historical landmarks, and we're gonna eat the whole way. So
Okay. Going on Let Them Kids Play, Andy Paez, Jackson Merrill, Evan Carter, Wyatt Linford, Colt Keith. All these kids are having fantastic seasons. Is it time for owners to look at their farm systems and or the rookies and maybe back off a little bit on the $16 bazillion contracts for one season and start letting some of these other kids come up? Mikey, your thoughts?
I think they're doing fine how they do it. I mean, you know who the hot prospects, you know who they are. Those guys are going to make the jump themselves. But yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say that I'm against how it's been going thus far because my team, the Dodgers, spends money. So
But
my answer is going to be different than others.
But look at Andy Paez, Mikey.
No, and he played his way into it. That's what I'm saying. The Dodgers aren't forced into having to bring guys up right now because of injuries or people aren't playing well, or things like that. So to be called up, you really have to be struggling up here like James Outman, or really playing well like Andy Paez was down there to be brought up. So our system kind of, you have to force your way in, especially position players wise. Pitchers is a little more lenient, like Landon Knack, has been phenomenal when he's got to pitch this year. When they want to give extra days rest to guys or something. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's different for the Dodgers and some of the teams that spend a lot of money compared to other teams that have to dip into their prospects, and they might not even be as deep as the Dodgers and some of the other teams. We have a lot of trade options galore if we wanted to get rid of some prospects. Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches, I have to say. I'm just not boasting. That's just the way it is right now.
Okay, so Dave, same question to you.
I think it's just another a compartment on the utility belt for a well-seasoned GM. Of course, like Mikey said, there's going to be geographical, market differences. The Dodgers are not necessarily worried about their farm system because they've got a $2 billion franchise. They've got the ad revenue, they've got the TV deal, and they know how to prorate a $2 billion contract. No, I digress. I kid. But no, it's definitely going to be different from there than say the St. Louis's of the world, the Milwaukee Brewers of the world. But take it from a large market team like the Houston Astros. We notoriously do not spend a lot of money on veteran players. And that I know people are going to add me about Verlander and all that. That's fine. Other than him, when is the last big splash signing we made? Other than Jose Abreu, Josh Hader, yeah, pitching I think is a little bit different. But look at what we do in our farm system and our scouts in Latin America. I mean, look how many stars have came up through that track for us. We found a little skinny Jose Altuve in the middle of a baseball field in Venezuela. Yuli Gurriel was a bona fide star already in the league when we found him. We've managed to stay competitive with bringing in young talent like that. So kudos to these kids, man. I mean, Paez is naturally athletic. He's got a powerful swing, and like Mikey said, for you to play your way in to a lineup like that, you've got to be doing something good. You know, that also with its limitations, there you do get a chance of burning a guy up. You know, Evan Carter comes to mind. There's a little bit of regression there. You know, recently he's got sat for a couple of games because he can't be trusted in key situations. So like I said, it's like our old buddy Batman, as Adam West would say, you know, give me the bat shark repellent. It's just another tool in the belt there of a GM to utilize. But definitely you should be utilizing your farm system. Because if not, that's how you find yourself in a position like the White Sox.
And you said it perfectly with the Adam West. Is there another Batman? I don't think so.
No. I mean, if your Batman can't bat Tusi, I don't want it.
If your ward isn't Dick Grayson, you're no friend of mine.
If your Joker doesn't have a painted over mustache, I'm just saying, Cesar Romero was the Don. Okay, Frank Gorshin. I could talk about Batman all day long.
If your Penguin isn't the hell's that little
Rocky's coach,
thing?
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mickey.
it was Mickey.
Burgess Meredith.
Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
That guy is the king. He is the king.
Yeah, he is the goat of
Twilight
a lot of
Zone.
things.
He's in like every third Twilight Zone, I think.
Look, not to mention 1966 Batman had not one, not two, but three bad expletive cat women. I'm just saying, Hurt the Kid, Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather. Oh, yeah, sure, whatever. They could have a rotating one where it was you never knew which Catwoman was going to show up. I wouldn't complain a single time.
I wouldn't have been sad to be Adam West in the 60s and early 70s.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he was quite popular at the Playboy Mansion.
The not so much that, but I got something I'll tell you guys about offline, but it has nothing to do with Playboy Mansion. That's for doggone sure. I love
Bill, you're not going to share your stories from the grotto? Come on.
I mean, you know, but I love the fact that the young kids are doing it. Jackson Merrill down in San Diego, you guys pay attention to this kid. This kid is really, really good. And Dave, I know you hate the name Wyatt Linford because, I mean, of where he plays, but Colt Keith is going to be really good, and Andy Paez is going to be good. It's just going to be what happens to these kids once film gets out on them, right? And so
that's how you stay in the league. I mean, if you don't make the proper adjustments, you'll find out real quick. They find out where you're having troubles in the zone hitting. High fastball, you can't lay off the slider. You know, they're gonna figure you out, and you're gonna have to readjust to that to stay.
So yes, and
it is refreshing, I'll say, to see. I mean, we are having a renaissance of young players right now. You know, Ellie De La Cruz, you know, Willie Contreras, you know, Jeremy Pena. I mean, there's the list goes on and on. Bobby Witt Jr. is an absolute stud. You know, a lot of kids, baseball's in good hands, man. I'm happy to see where it's going.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's.
Yeah, I you know, the Robin Yountz of the early days where he came up as a 19-year-old. Those guys who show that kind of promise, man, if you could have like start at that age, look at what Robin Yount did over his career. I mean, it adds up.
I was going to say, ask any one of these kids if they can have a career in numbers like Robin Yount. I don't think anybody would not sign up. I mean,
no. And a lot of those kids did it too. Remember, this is pre-social media, right? So a lot of them did it, and you didn't even hear about it. I mean, the three of us remember having to pull out the freaking sports page to see what happened around the league, because in some cases, ESPN Sports Center had just come out, and you had to pay for that channel. And so I don't know if your family was like mine, but my parents weren't about ready to pay for an all sports network.
Dude, I am a box score nerd still. The box score is life. I'm sorry. There's nothing like a good box score.
Preach,
Yeah,
brother,
no.
preach.
But also being a child of the 90s, I cut my teeth on the 90s and waiting for the midnight new Sports Center to come out with Craig Kilborn and Stuart Scott. Man, those were good times. I mean, I remember full on parties where I had a house full of 13 to 20 people just waiting for Sports Center,
Amen. Amen. Preach it. So yeah. So true story. I may have told you guys this before, but just keep this between us if I haven't told you this. I may or may not have known the DJ. Was a good friend of mine at our wedding, and I asked him to make our wedding song instead of Casey and JoJo's All My Life, announce us to this theme of Sports Center. And my wife, baseball sidekick, may or may not have walked up to our first dance with da na na da na na, and she looked at me like, oh, fire coming out of the nose, the ears, the eyes. And then he started the song with Casey and JoJo, and I'm like, yeah. But I'm telling you what, I was trying, boys. I was trying. Da-na-na, da-na-na. And my buddies asked me, they go, so, your wedding night, where are you guys going? I said, I'm going back to the hotel to watch Sports Center. What are you guys doing? And they said, your wedding night, you're going to watch Sports Center. And I kind of joked with my wife, and I'm like, why don't we watch a little Sports Center here, honey? And that wasn't what she had on her mind.
In Fuego.
Probably wanted to play chess or something.
Yeah. Can we play a game of checkers or something like that? Is there something going on right here? Speaking of box scores, do you guys remember the old Stratomatic baseball? Did you guys ever play that game? I don't know if you guys ever played the Stratomatic baseball game, but that game was
Amber cut the feed.
Yeah. No kidding. Have you guys ever played Stratomatic baseball? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. I am old enough.
No. I know what it is, but no, I never played it.
There you go. All right, let's flip this around, boys. Let's give you guys the keys to the kingdom. Both of you guys have just been offered GM positions for the Chicago White Sox, the Miami Marlins, and the Colorado Rockies. And the owner is going to ask you one question. What would you do differently before you took the job? What would you do differently? So, Dave, it's up to you to answer this one first. Mikey, then you tell me.
First of all, I'm taking the position in Colorado above any and all, and people that know why that I'm picking that. That being said, we'll start with Colorado. I would bring some veteran. The Rockies started off the season historically struggling. But have turned it around and had an unlikely streak over the past week. Okay. Ryan McMahon and Elias Diaz have been constant performers. Charlie Blackmon has regained his swing. They've got younger players like Brenton Doyle and Esquivel Tovar that look like keepers. But the Rockies need health and production from veteran Bryant and the youthful impact from Jones. Two players that were expected to be mainstays for the rest of the locker room to really notice and see how far the project has come and that the team is behind them. At this point, you got a lot of young players playing and you want them to be confident in themselves and the organization. So that's what I would do if I had the keys to any of those to pick. First of all, I know that ain't the question, but I would go with Colorado first just because, let's be honest, the White Sox, there's no quick fix for a team that's sitting 19 games out of 500 at time of recording. Okay. I thought the Astros started off bad, but thank goodness for the team from the north side of Chicago for stinking it up. They're in a rebuild, like we were talking about just earlier. Now it's time to develop young players. Look in your farm, pull these young core talent and focus on them. You've got a center fielder out there, Luis Robert Jr., that's a star, but he's the only the only thing selling tickets in town, and he's hurt right. So there's not a quick fix in Chicago, but I think you're in a position now to where you're fighting the wrong side of history to be one of the historically worst teams of all time. So um, batten down the hatches, all hands on deck. Let the young guys play. And if I'm in Miami, I'd sell the team. No, I'd probably get Jack Berger back on track. Um, you know, the pitching has been enough to keep them in games. But like I always say, you can have outstanding pitching performances, but you still got to score runs. So it'd be nice to get a little run support there. Miami has played decent ball during the year, but their record in close games is not spectacular on their end. So all three teams, you're in a position right now to where realistically you're not playing for anything except to get better and to try to put a product on the field that you can get some enjoyment for your fans. So,
okay, Mikey, what do you think?
Well, it's kind of tough to go after. He just covered everything. First
Amen.
off, I'll start with the White Sox. No, thank you. I appreciate the offer. You'll never be the Cubs, even if you win. So, no, thank you. That's where I'm at with the White Sox. They're always going to be second fiddle no matter what. So yep. I don't want that job.
Okay.
The Rockies, I don't want that job at least for the next 10 years because their ownership group, the people who run it, everything about that is fourth place or below for the next probably 10 years at this rate we're at right now. So I would say yes to the Marlins. And that's a sinking ship regardless. Miami's just too beautiful and it's hard to get people in there if you're not winning. So I would start with rebuilding, my whole minor league section, right. You got to build within through draft, maybe trade, if you could probably, I know you're not going to win for a while, so you might as well try and get something for Jazz Chisholm while he's a viable option for teams,
Correct.
But that's, you're going to have to trade well, try and get some youth and definitely draft well because you're usually finishing low enough to where you should be getting some good picks. So you definitely got to hit on them. So no, thank you, Colorado. No, thank you, Chicago White Sox. But yes, I'll accept the Marlins job.
So I'm going to kind of merge what you two boys said. So I would accept the jobs at all three places. And the White Sox play in a big market town. The Miami Marlins play in Miami. They got great food down there. They can attract talent. And Colorado has got a great place to recruit. Remember, players look at not only just where their contract is at, they looked at the taxes, they looked at what cost for a house, and looked at things like what the schools look like and things like that.
So, I also heard the brownies are really good in Colorado.
Mikey, have you had a brownie from Colorado?
I have not. Well, I don't think so. I don't. Bill, what are you doing here?
That's
no,
a different show.
I'm going to think.
That's a different show.
Most of my brownies have come from Humboldt, California.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I would do if I had the keys to the kingdom. Here's what I would do. I would sit down with the manager and I would say, your new line is no participation trophies. I don't want 15 outs. I want 18 to 22 outs for my starter every single night. Otherwise, it's an epic fail. Then I would go recruit pitching. If I had to bring it up, if I had to find different pitchers, and I would make them like Nolan Ryan tried to do with the Rangers. when he had some stake in the Rangers, make them the best conditioned athletes in all of baseball. And I would change it from the inside out. All three of these teams could potentially be playoff contending teams if they did the right things. And to me, it's pitching. And all three of these teams, by the way, could attract and recruit good talent if they win. Colorado and the White Sox have, all three of these teams have some of the worst records in baseball. So it's hard to recruit talent. If you want to play in October, it's hard to recruit talent there. But go in and start from the pitching aspect and tell the manager, listen, it's real simple. You get into a game. If you're the visiting team, you get into a game that goes into the 10th inning. Guess what? You're going to bunt. I don't care who's up. You're going to bunt. Bunt the runner over. Play small, just basic things. And we'll get into that in a second. But I mean, fellas, tell me I'm wrong. Right now, the Dodgers right now have had success with pitching. The Yankees are having success with pitching. Dave, if we were being honest, that's where the Astros have struggled the first month and a half of the season. And we've talked about this on and offline, right?
But we're getting back healthy. We're coming. All our starters will be in-house within 2 months.
But that's my point, is you have tremendous talent on the IL that's pitching. Tremendous talent. And Brownware came back. He had one good outing, one not so good outing, right? Christian Javier came back. He had a good outing. Cade Upping came back. He's pitched well. That's my point, right? That's my ultimate
you've
point.
got to get at the end of the day to be the best at what they do. Now, that being said, not everybody's a Mookie Betts. I get it. Not everybody is Jose Altuve, no matter how tall they are. But when you see the kids like the Orioles, when you see the Bobby Witt Juniors, these kids are taking advantage of every single at bat. And that's what these teams that are struggling seem to have troubles with. It's real easy for when you're on the schneid and you're on a bad team, that stuff's contagious. Like winning is contagious, losing is contagious, bad attitude is contagious. It's all, locker room cancer. So
I feel like I'm listening to the preacher from
The Natural.
From The Natural, exactly. Losing is a disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. And all it takes is one foul guy to screw up a locker room, especially when you've got young guys on the squad. Guys are like Play-Doh. They're formidable. But that being said, that's why there's so many players living in Florida, no state tax. So, like you said, all these teams could attract. They've just got to do some tweaking. But, thank God it's not any of our teams.
There you go. Okay. Final segment. So we've covered the Astros. We've covered letting the kids play. We've covered what would you do differently. Now it's the infamous "Can I get a hug" segment. And Dave is on his fifth hat. I love it. Absolutely love it. The keys to winning baseball right now, fellas, what do you think?
Go ahead, Mikey.
You cut out on me for a second. I'm sorry.
Keys to winning games right now. We're now in late May. What's the keys to winning?
Hitting and pitching. I don't know. You're gonna win games with what you're dealt. We know what the Dodgers have. We know what the Astros have. At this point, teams know what they want to do at the trade deadline now. Those who are the buyers and the sellers and what they're probably looking for. That's a tough. I mean, you got to hit, you got to pitch, you got to play good baseball.
Yep. 100%. Dave.
I don't think it's a secret formula. I don't think it's hard to decipher. It's not trigonometry. We're not talking about a beautiful mind here and you're writing on all over the walls. Win the series you're supposed to win. Play well against the teams that you are statistically better than, because this is baseball. Everybody's a pro. You're going to lose a game. Nobody's going to win them all. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will. But you have to take advantage of key moments in the games. I mean, things like if you're a home team and you get a shutdown start from your starter, follow it up and you score first. I don't know what the exact numbers are, and I'm not going to make up a stat, but I know a lot of teams that score first tend to win. You know, a big defensive stop. You know, you get two runners on, and you've got runners on second and third, and you come up with a big double play. Consequently, you give up a run or two. Stop it at that, and then follow it up, and don't go 1, 2, 3, and let them get right back out there. I mean, it's just there's so many variances. There's so many things that go into winning at the major league level. I will say, I think loves the long ball, but true baseball fans love W's even more. And if that means bunting a guy over, if that means a sacrifice hit, which nobody likes a sacrifice, but you know, I saw a couple of games this year with the Astros in extra innings with the advantage of a ghost runner. We're not bunting the runner over. I do not get it. It's just it's back to fundamentals. It's so hard to win at the major league level when you give yourself a disadvantage by not taking advantage. You just make it harder to win.
I can give an example right now of why I don't. So my philosophy on the extra innings, starting the runner at second base, if I'm the home team, if you're the visiting team and you don't score that run, I will try and bunt the guy over to third. Even after what I saw, because we had that situation just a couple games ago. We wound up winning on a Shohei walk-off, but Kike, who needs to do everything he can, to be relevant most of the, he can't waste his opportunities, comes up in the 10th and fouls out on his bunt. He pops it up. I mean, that was just, that's a tough one to start with right off the bat with your, when you're looking for momentum and trying to win a game, when you just held a team scoreless in the top of the 10th.
And I think the problem is that a lot of these players fundamentally don't know how to do it. I mean, when's the last time you've been to a game and you're at BP? How many guys are trying to lay down a bunt?
Exactly.
Everybody's trying to park it. You know what I mean? Everybody's working on the stroke. One of the best plays I've seen in this young season was Yordan Alvarez laying down a perfect bunt to the third base side to move a runner over, which we ended up winning that game. I mean, here we are talking about one of the most prolific hitters in the game right now, and he laid down a bunt. The fact that he knew how to do it when he was called upon, because it's a situational thing. I get it. But fundamentals, man. I mean, I see a lot of bad baseball, and this is the major leagues. So
Yordan Alvarez probably learned that technique in a good minor league system.
You know what? Hey, and God bless Josh Fields for sacrificing himself for the betterment of the Houston Astros.
Hey, Josh Fields sleeps well at night, I'm sure. He's fine.
My only concept when we're now at, and I've said this 100 times over, and I keep saying it, we're at a position in the season where you've got to stop making mental mistakes. Physical mistakes are okay. Mental mistakes are not okay. I can give examples one after another of mental mistakes.
Bad base running is prolific in the game right
now. 100%. 100%.
I was watching a Giants game the other night against the Dodgers, where it was I think it was an extra inning game, or it was the bottom of the ninth and the Giants needed one. They brought in a pinch runner, and before Blake Trinan even threw a pitch home, he picked the guy off of first base.
Yep. Yeah. And that's, I mean, those are mental mistakes. The other thing is baseball's a very much a momentum game. When you score, you can't give it back. Like we say, we record these on Wednesday nights. So I'm watching the Yankees Seattle game tonight, and the Yankees are up 5-0, and Seattle gets a 3-run Jimmy Jack, right? But then in the bottom of the 8th inning, now it's 5-3. You have a shutdown inning, you go into the 9th, life's good. Well, not so much. The Yankees have a 2-run Johnson. Alex Verdugo hits a 2-run Jimmy Jack. Now it's 7-3, and they lose 7-3. You got to have shutdown innings. When you score, you've got to have shutdown innings.
Yeah,
So
once Mr. Momentum is on your side, you want to keep that.
yeah, 100%, 100%. All right. So Dave, do me a favor. Will you do me a favor, Mr. Big Dave, Mr. Houston, H-Town till I drown. Did I say that right?
Very good. Very good.
Okay, thank you very much. Will you take us home? Like, we've covered everything. We've had some fun. We need to add, I love the fact that we had movie quotes in today, the natural, but take
Look
us
here.
home.
Tune into the Odd Couple. I mean, it's more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Okay, you've got my buddy Mikey Bleeds Blue, probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Dodger fan I know. Um, and I mean, Bill, you love all of baseball, so I give you. You've got other team jerseys behind you, and I know Mikey don't. So that's the only reason that I give
That's
Mikey it. Mikey will not be caught dead in somebody else's colors, and I respect that. But that's what we come to love about the Odd Couple. Okay, you get opinions from both sides. You get to hear us argue about it. Whether you're listening to it for free, wherever you listen to your podcast, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and listen to us chew the fat. If you got the benefit of video and you could see our lovely faces, not so much for Bill, but I know me and Mikey were made for television. Um, but we thank you for tuning in. This is if you get an opportunity to see this on YouTube for free, aka the free view. I know when I was growing up, we had cable, but we never could afford the movie channels, and nothing was better than coming home on a Friday and figuring out you had HBO for the weekend. So that's kind of what it is, man. You've got a benefit that you usually don't have. So take advantage, go to YouTube, find the Top Fan Rivalry page, hit that subscribe button for me, okay? When you hit a subscribe button, an angel gets his wings. I'm just saying, I don't know if they're in Los Angeles or Anaheim, but I believe an angel gets his wings. While you're there, while you're doing that, jump on over to topfanrivalry.com. That, of course, is what we're all about here. It's fan based, it's for the fans, by the fans. You get all of your all teams represented well. And we'd love to see you, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. On behalf of Baseball Bill, my buddy, Mikey Bleeds Blue, I am Big Dave. We thank you for tuning in to the Odd Couple. Guys, let's do this again next week. What do you think?
One more thing, everybody.
Yes.
Have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Remember what we know. It's the start of summer. It's picnics, it's parties, but maybe give a toast, give a toast to the fallen and a thanks. So have a great Memorial weekend, everybody.
Yes, well said. Remember
Very
those
well
that sacrifice all to allow us to do stuff like this. Okay.
Very well said.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Hang your flags up, and take a second and think about those that made the ultimate sacrifice.
Thank you all. We'll do it again next week.
Astros.